Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Ladies and gentlemen, the history of talk radio. Political opinions have been a staple of radio since the early 1920s. Talk radio as a listener participation format has existed since at least the mid-1940s. WMCA New York's Barry Gray was bored with playing music and put a telephone receiver up to his microphone to talk with band leader Woody Herman. This was soon followed by listener call-ins. In 1948, disc jockey Alan Courtney began a call-in program on WGBS Miami. The Alan Courtney Open Phone Forum was a conservative and anti-communist political forum with coverage area over the southeast United States and Cuba. In the 50s, Joe Pine, John Nebel, and Gene Shepard were among the first to explore the medium. In recent years, talk radio has gained popularity with many new formats flourishing, including all sports in 1986 with the birth of WFAN New York. The subject matter for these formats are different, but the structure has remained the same for all these years. You might say, talk radio is a 20th century format. Until now, that is. It's 2014. And radio pioneer and innovator Alex Bennett introduces the Citizen Panel on GabNet, the first revolutionary idea in the format since its inception. The Citizen Panel allows for an open discussion to take place between the host and many listeners all at the same time. Listeners claim that it's addictive, producing stimulating discussions on any topic from politics to movies and entertainment. It's not liberal or conservative. It's open to all opinions and ideas. Log on to gabnet.net to listen and find out how you can participate. Listen to the programs on GabNet and take a step into 21st century talk radio. Talk like you've never heard it before is now talk like you've never seen it before. Alex Bennett's Ramble is now in video. Log on to Alex's Facebook page at facebook.com/abennett every Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and experience the Citizen Panel like never before. We put a face to people like Phil, Patrick, Renee, Kevin, Tony, Jeff, Bree, Brian, and all of our regulars. And Alex is there too in his PJs. Just be glad he isn't naked. You can be one of those people who gets seen and not just heard by calling into Skype. For more information on how to Skype us, just go to gabnet.net. You can dress any way you want, provided it's decent. GabNet is now not just talk and not just a pretty face. So why don't you add yours? Reasons why you tune into GabNet. Here's reason number 9. Great celebrity guests.
So how many years is this now with Teller?
43, and that's 43 continuous. You can try to say Keith Richards and Mick Jagger go longer, but they take 3, 4, 5 years off. You know, even when they're together, they take the time off. Continuous, you know, no more than 2 weeks working apart.
Wow. And
like being waterboarded for 43 years.
GabNet. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GabNet. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
hey, Bennett, sing! Hey, everybody, it's Alex Bennett. It is the Ramble. You're not seeing me yet because every now and then we have a pre-recorded audio interview going. And, let's check in with an old friend of ours like we always like to check in with an old friend of ours. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make our call that we do every now and then and try and catch him unawares. Let me see here. Beep, 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 beep. Why do I sing when I'm waiting for the phone to ring? There we go. There we go. Right. Here we go. Here we go.
I don't want to talk to you, goddammit. I want to talk to Fabian. He's a dreamboat. So laments Maria Conchetta Smegmeti of Wantagh, Long Island. Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Sorry I've been fucking up, but man, we're still getting settled in here. And I was on the phone with Social Security for an hour and a half waiting to get through and blah, blah, blah.
What were you calling Social Security for?
To let them know my change of address.
Oh, I see. You're collecting Social Security already, right? You took it early?
Well, I'm getting... It's best to let them know where you are, you know?
Yeah.
The IRS already found out where I am, so why not let Social Security know?
Are you collecting Social Security already?
I get a little something here. I'm an old man. God damn it. I remember the good old days with chocolate cigarettes and, all that good stuff before this newfangled internet.
Did you take it early?
I'll get a little... I'll save that for the book.
Are you 65?
No, I'm getting there, though.
Oh, okay. So you took it early.
Yeah, a little early because I'm nuts. Hello.
Yeah, no. It's okay. I took it early, too. You know.
Oh, I wish I could have taken it when I was 14. I wouldn't have to have gotten a job.
I was kind of out of work at the time, and I needed the money, so I took it early. And I'm telling you, it didn't hurt me that much, you know.
Take it all. Take everything.
Some people don't live to be 65, so you take it as early as you can take it. Yeah.
How many people do I know have keeled over already?
You know, they make a bet that you're going to keel over. Exactly. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn on the air conditioning in here. For some reason today, it's humid as hell. Anyway.
It's only in Vegas. It's like 178 degrees out there.
How much? How hot does it get in Vegas?
Hey, it's so hot. I saw 2 trees fighting over a dog, boy. That's wild. Hey, it's so hot. I was sweating like Lindsay Lohan at a sobriety checkpoint. That's some. Hey, here's Betty Furness. It's hot, but it's a dry heat. If you bake, you don't boil.
Yeah, right. It's a dry heat. Yeah.
I started to think what our first electric bill is going to be, but we need that air conditioning.
Yeah. So how do you like living in Vegas?
I like it. I'm seeing my friends are doing this. Unfortunately, Saturday night on my way back from doing a guest set at a nice club called Jokesters, my car blowed up and the transmission's dead, so I'm fucked. Call me Carlos Santana. The thing was on wobbly legs to begin with, and it finally died. So my car's just
what are you going to do about a car? You need a car in Vegas.
Well, there's this. I'm trying to get some help from some organization to pay for that and some dental work I need for old poor comics that they're setting up. So I've been in touch with them, and I'm just getting estimates. I know transmission is fucking insane to replace. It's like $5,000 or something. It sucks. But I'll see what I can do. Until then, I'll be Ubering it.
We should start a GoFundMe campaign for you.
I did that, and I made barely half, oh God, like 1/5 of the money I'd need. And there's enough to make some other repairs needed to get the car to Vegas from Northern California, which it did. And then conked out the change later after I got down here. Made it down from San Francisco and a little bit of change.
How old is?
Now it's just waiting.
How old is the car?
It's a 2006 Honda CR-V, and it was running great till the old transmission went.
Wow. You know, it's kind of sad. I feel bad for you.
I feel bad for me too. I like driving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to Uber now. Luckily, I'm not gonna be going out a lot, but I'm an old man. I like being home with the cats. But I did take my first walk around the neighborhood, and I found, lucky me, I found a dispensary within 20-minute walk. Within a 20-minute walk here. So
that is your
I'm getting to know the neighborhood.
And
guess what? Carl LeBeau lives like half a block from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found that out. I posted a view of my bedroom outside on Facebook, and Carl got in touch and said, hey, that's a view from my bedroom, too. I think I'm on your block. So hell about that. So hopefully I'm going to see him Saturday night.
Yeah, well, Sam Kinison, he was like Sam Kinison's best friend, wasn't he, basically?
Yep. I always thought the star shone on the wrong guy, but, there you go.
Yeah. So Carl, does he work a lot in Vegas?
He had a show. I think he has a show. I think it's the last week of it. He had a show called Stripped about Vegas and him riffing and some other people and stuff like that, and I didn't get to see it. I was going to go last night, but I had such a long day on the phone doing this and that, and I just conked out. But hopefully I'll see him Saturday.
Yeah. So do you think Vegas will make you funny?
It won't make me less funny. It'll make me older. I don't know. It's I'm the same crazy maniac wherever I go. So at least I'm not in Ohio.
Well, I know you're the same crazy maniac wherever you go, but
yes, wherever I go, I spread my tilted joy.
Yeah, I feel bad for you. I wish things were a little more spiffy.
I know. Well, if I can get this help here with my transmission and stuff, I'll be back on the road or get another car or something. I don't know. Right now, it's
how much?
Right now, I'm broker than Tina Turner's nose on her wedding night hike. And if I was famous, that remark would have ended my career. But I'm not.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Yeah, it's always something. It's always something. It sucks. At least I got my health. At least the dispensaries are in walking distance.
Yeah. Yeah. Bubs doesn't seem to have those problems as much, but it's because he got himself into an apartment where he stayed there, and it's so cheap he'll never move out, and it's so cheap they would love him to move out.
I know. He keeps telling me he wants to move to Vegas and he's hoping for a buyout, but I just said no, stay there till you're dead, and then another month after that. Stay in. If you got a good deal in San Francisco, brother, stay there.
Well, you moved to Vegas basically because it was cheaper than staying in the Bay Area.
Cheaper, a lot cheaper.
Also, I would imagine the comedy opportunities are better in Vegas.
There are clubs all over the place. I just got to get to them. I did a guest set Saturday night, and I did like the week before I went to back to San Francisco to do some shows there. I did another set somewhere and had a great time on both of them. And I had a good time till Macabre blowed up on the corner of Oakey and Rancho. And it's fun when your car stalls in a turn lane on a Saturday night.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah. God. Thank God for AAA. Wait, at least I'm not in Afghanistan. What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
But if Wayne Newton's listening, Mr. Wayne Newton, I'm a big fan, and maybe he can do a benefit for me. I'm a good person. I'm new to Las Vegas, and I've never robbed a video store. So, Wayne Newton, if you're listening, please do a benefit to get me my transmission.
I never robbed a video store.
And I'll be happy to piss on Johnny Carson's grave for you, too, if you do this for me.
No, but I never robbed a video store. Isn't that a reference to, what's her name?
The late, great, immortal, forever in our hearts, never to be forgotten, dead as a doornail, Dana Delaney, who Wayne Newton bailed out and tried to set on the right path after she robbed the video store, but it didn't work out for her.
Oh, boy. And then she died. She died, right?
What?
She died.
Oh, she's big. She's good and dead. She's been in the Bone Garden for like 19 years already.
Yeah, but she was on, The Facts of Life or some show like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the other one was a Different Strokes. That's what she was.
Different Strokes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So listen, let me ask you about some things in comedy.
Anytime.
Comedy. What do you? How do you think Cosby's career is going?
Oh, I hear he's working with Vince Champ now.
With who?
No, that's you got to know who Vince Champ is, but that would be a funny joke. He's a comedian who was convicted for multiple rapes and sent to the big house, rightfully so, for a long time. So maybe they'll meet each other. Maybe they can do an act together.
Boy,
I think just desserts, man. You know, we trusted that son of a bitch. Always remember, there's the image and then there's the real person. Sometimes the two are opposites. There's the image and there's the real person.
Well, you know what?
O.J. Simpson.
I said this before, andLl say it again. I don't know why he would drug women to get laid. I mean,
he's a sick fuck. He's wired differently than us. We're not supposed to understand it.
I guess we're not supposed to understand it, but, you know, I mean, when I hear this kind of thing going on, and I've heard about it in other situations, too, I just go, why did he need to do that, you know?
I don't know. He's the cause, man. He transcended everything. Race, you know, everyone loved him. America's fault. He could have had anybody he wanted, but he just had to knock him out and rape him. How?
I mean, he probably could. I would say in maybe at least I'm gonna venture a large guess. 75% of the cases where he drugged those women, they would have fucked him anyway.
Yeah, but for some reason he had to get his job. Remember on the show Dallas, man, JR couldn't want a woman unless she was resisting him. If they threw themselves at him, he wanted nothing to do with them. But if they resisted him, he wanted them. So, you know, that was his hang-up. He just had to knock them out. It was like a power thing. Who the hell knows?
You know, Dave Chappelle did a bit in his act most recently on Netflix in which he talked about Cosby. And he listed all the wonderful things Cosby has done in his life, including millions of dollars to getting kids through college, black kids through college, and supporting all kinds of things. And he said that was the good that he did. Now, on some level, don't we take the good with the bad? And does the bad make all the good things he do mean nothing?
Well, not when the bad is being a multiple rapist. I think the bad greatly outweighs the good.
It's not that I'm disagreeing with you.
Ruin lives, man.
But that's what Chappelle said. He said, we got a lot out of Cosby. Would we give all that up because he has been accused of all of this stuff, or do we deny the good he did? I think is what he's saying.
Yeah. Hitler liked dogs, and John Wayne Gacy was a clown for the neighborhood kids. So look at the good he did.
Yeah. But that's quite a fall from grace. I mean, he's gone from what? From stardom to
top of the mountain to shitting in a hole. Oh my God!
9x12 cell.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep, quite a change. Quite a change from the big house, and he's gone from one big house to the other big house.
Well, he's actually in a cell all by himself. They're not.
No cellmate. Yeah. No guy named Big Walt.
No. He's right near the infirmary because he has he can't see. He's technically blind.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, saying that.
Well, that's why they were asking for home confinement, saying that to begin with it would be too expensive for a prison to house him because of the special needs. All right, and they probably should just put an ankle on his leg and told him to stay home. Never leave.
Nah, put him in a cell. He's a very bad man. He did very, very bad things.
Yeah, well,
very bad man.
Yeah, no, he didn't. Look, I'm not going to say that what he did wasn't bad. That's not even up for discussion. But the question is, as Chappelle said, where do we separate the good from the bad? Do we throw out all the good he did, and not credit him with that because he did the bad? It's like somebody, I can't remember, the Television Academy, somebody took away his Lifetime Achievement Award because of this conviction. And I don't think you should do that. I think he had a Lifetime Achievement, and he did it, and you considered him to have Lifetime Achievement. So what are you griping about,
Yep, they should give his Lifetime Achievement Award back, and he can have it in his cell. He can hold it and stroke it and pretend to drug it out and rape it and do anything he wants to.
But also, they're not going to remove his star from the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You know why? They say they're permanently there. They can't be removed or something like that.
That wasn't the case with the Donald Trump star. Somebody made that one go away. Of course, they replaced it.
Well, yeah, they keep replacing it. What they did was they said they said they should not have Trump on the Walk of Fame, mainly because if they have to keep replacing it, it's not worth it. And every week somebody tears the fucker up.
That's right. Crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. So what are you finding funny these days?
Walking around. I'm walking now. What else? Just everything.
Wait a minute.
Everything's crazy. Everything's
wait a minute. The
world's crazy. Beatniks, lady drivers. Oh, that's my old act. Never mind.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. You had walking problems?
No, I can walk. My only problem is I have to walk now.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, no. I can walk. I can walk with the best of them, Mr. Man. Uphill, downhill, flat surfaces, you name it. I can
think of all
boiling oatmeal. I can do it.
Think of all the exercise you're going to get.
I know. Can't wait to lose this spare tire. I never get my car fixed.
Let me ask you. In moving to Vegas, you had to move all your stuff, but in the process of moving all your stuff, you also probably threw some stuff away, right?
Darn tootin', and left some stuff behind, and but took as much as we could. That God, I threw a lot of shit out.
Yeah, I mean, like, what did you throw out? Do you remember what you threw out?
Let's see. I'm just thinking there was just so much garbage. Old suitcases we didn't need, and pretty much everything that was in them. Old sweatshirts, old just old clothes I wasn't wearing.
I'll bet, knowing you,
magazines we were saving, just a lot of stuff. But we brought down. We still haven't unpacked all the way.
Knowing you,
about maybe 1/3 done.
You kept all your music in your video, I bet.
You better believe it. Even though everything's on YouTube, I took all my records, which I'd like to sell them. I'm going, why did I buy all these fucking records back then? No one knew about YouTube.
They were heavy.
Real heavy. And I had like boxes and boxes and boxes of them. I was a fucking collector. Dopey me.
I could probably put most of your record collection on a little hard drive that you could fit in your pocket.
That's right. You could put it on the head of a pin these days. It's insane.
Yeah. But before, I mean, it was like remember how much LPs? Well, you know how much because you have them. How much LPs weigh? Jeez almighty.
A double album can give me a hernia these days.
I thank God for CDs, and then CDs. The problem with CDs was those fucking jewel cases kept breaking.
Oh yeah, I just look at one wrong and it breaks on me. Like those old '78 records. Don't touch it; it'll break.
Yeah. And then let's see. Now we're into digital. Now everything's stored digitally. And I find I had a whole bunch of video tapes, discs here of DVDs.
Oh yeah, I found a bunch of those. I found a bunch of VHSs.
I took about a quarter of them and I put them all on hard drive. Just made them into files, and because why do I need all these DVDs? I don't need them.
Yeah. You don't take up space. It takes up space.
And so,
who needs the heartbreak?
And I'd get back to doing it, but do you know how hard it is to make copies of everything?
Yeah, it takes forever. Screw it. I just got to go to We Buy Vinyl, sell them off for $5 or whatever, and be done with it. Pretty much everything I want is on YouTube or the Sugar Meg site or just anywhere, somewhere on the internet. I don't need these ugly discs.
Vinyl. Yeah. Well,
vinyl. Hey, what did I do with it?
Is there any value?
I found a box full of cassettes too. Oh my God!
Is there any vinyl? I mean, is there any money in vinyl?
No, it reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where they get that old guy's records and they go to Bleecker Bob's. I'll give you $5 for the whole pile. That's probably what I get. Like 1,000 records or so.
But I mean, like when I left San Francisco to come back to New York, I decided to sell my record collection. Mm-hmm. What I didn't sell, and I still have them, are all my comedy albums because I think that now that they're even older, they're probably worth even more. But I got about $4,000 for my record collection.
Oh, really? How many records did you have about?
I had a couple of thousand, maybe. Some were worth 50 cents, and others were worth a lot of money. I got $300 for my copy of the original Houston-produced and pressed album of the 13th Floor Elevators.
The Rocky Erickson, Crazy Rocky.
Yeah, which I helped produce, oddly enough.
Really? Oh, my God.
But that, for some reason, the guy said, "I'll give you $300 for this. This is a collector's item." But on the other hand, I had a pressing, test pressing of Tommy by The Who. Okay, now you would think that would be worth a fortune, and they said, "I don't know. We don't know what it's worth." They couldn't come up with an amount of money it was worth. It didn't have a label on it, and it had a mimeograph page that described all the music on the record.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, so I mean, it was obvious, and it said Tommy, a rock opera, an opera, and then somebody had written put a caret in and the word rock. They decided to call it a rock opera.
That's how you get the kids to buy it. Put the word rock in it.
Yeah,
put the word opera. They don't buy it.
And I still have it. I still maintain it's worth a lot of money. But
you got to go to the right collector. They'll go on Antiques Roadshow to let you know.
Yeah. What you've got to do is it depends on the guy who's doing the assessing of it. In my case, it was. Definitely. It was. What do you think's the most valuable album you own?
Oh, Lord. I don't know if the Two Virgins album is worth anything. That the Naked John Lennon and Yoko Oko album, I haven't almost been conditioned. I played it once because it was so horrendous. I never played it again. That might be worth something. I don't know. I got to go through my stuff. I don't know. I got to go through everything.
You know, they
couldn't.
A
lot of them are reissues and stuff like that. I got in the 70s. So
the Two Virgins album, they couldn't get Apple to release it. So who do you think released the album? If you look at it, the name of the label is even, I think, on there.
Really?
Tetragrammaton. Do you know who owned Tetragrammaton?
No.
Bill Cosby.
Oh, I better get rid of it.
See,
bad energy.
see, this whole discussion comes full 360. Yeah.
The music that knocks you out. You wake up an hour later feeling like you've been touched somewhere. Listen to this on Cosby's private label.
This album will make you feel like Jell-O pudding.
Jello, from Jello to Jello. Look out!
I was watching. I think it was Fox. I was watching today, and they were reporting on the whole Cosby thing. And they said that he had for dinner last night. He had spaghetti and meatballs, but this jail doesn't serve Jello. You know, like
poor baby.
Like that matters. You know.
Yeah. Oh, he's ruined. No Jello for 3 years, man. I never touched the stuff anyway. That phony.
You know, I wonder. You know how aware Cosby is of his circumstances, or whether he is just in this,
said that
that he's in this la la land now. You know, what do you think?
I don't know. I've heard he's showing no remorse. He hasn't admitted. He hasn't said I'm sorry or anything. So maybe he thinks he's so far removed from reality. He thinks he's right and everyone else is wrong. And they'll come to their senses. I'm going to appeal this, and I'll be back on television. He could be completely nuts, and then maybe his age has something to do with it too. You know, maybe he's demented. I don't know. Well, he's demented, obviously, for what he did, but who knows?
No, well,
I don't know what's going through his head, but it's going through his head in a little bitty room.
Well, it was terrible what he did, but you know something? If you look at the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing and all the accusers that are coming forward with him and drugging and so on, I'm beginning to think that when I was younger, I had missed out on a good bet for getting laid. I just, you know, I never thought about drugging a woman. You know?
Yeah, there you go. Who knew?
And maybe I would have had an excuse because I could use as my defense, I'm ugly as sin. This is the only way I could get laid, you know.
I'm a creep in a lot of ways, but I would never drug anyone.
But, I mean, it's all these people running around drugging women in order to have sex. Now, I know I've known women who've said to me, do you have Quaaludes? And if I had one, I'd give her a Quaalude. But I never offered it.
No, that's not like sticking one in their drink or anything like that. Somebody wants a lewd, you give them a lewd.
There's nothing wrong with giving somebody your drugs. That makes you giving. All right?
If they're an adult and they want something and it's given to them, I have no qualm with that.
Exactly. But I
don't know what the outcome will be. That's another story. But no, an adult should be allowed to do whatever they want as long as they're the only victim. If they're a victim to be.
Dosing is completely unacceptable. Always has been, so far as I was concerned.
Oh, sure. It's like people did, remember in the old days, people say, put some acid in your drink, man. Oh, you're going to be tripping for 8 hours. Anyone who does that should be killed.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it's a sad fall from grace. You know, it has kind of Greek tragedy leanings, the whole Cosby
big time.
thing.
Worse than Phil Spector. We always knew he was nuts, but, you know, we thought Cosby was a good guy. Oh,
Spector's another one. You know, he's still in jail. He's still in jail.
He'll die in jail.
You think he's going to die in jail?
Spector? Cosby?
Cosby may, but Spector?
Spector will.
You think so?
He's like 80 now, and he's got like 20 more years to go or something. I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah.
And Cosby, I don't know. And he's 80, 81, so he could die tomorrow. He couldn't do 3 years and let him go. Who the fuck knows?
As a final note, I guess Spector's lawyers gave up.
Yeah.
You know.
They found the bullet in the wall of sound, but I got to tell you.
Hey, listen, we've run out of time. We've managed to waste another 25 minutes of our lives on this deal.
There you go. We'll never get it back. Aren't you happy? Sure I am. Let's do it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's funny. He's playing in Vegas, so if you get a chance to go to Vegas and see him, you must do that. His name is Stephen Pearl. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. And if you have a car, give me a lift.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to bring up a picture of me. Otherwise, the show isn't official. No, wait a minute. That's Stephen Pearl. Hold on a second. I'm going to get it yet. There we go. How are you? Good evening, everybody. Oh, boy. I'm screwing up again. And I'm not taking those pills anymore. Stopped taking the amitriptyline. Man, that was just phasing me out. Just terrifically, horribly, terribly horrible. Anyway, I'm opening up the Skype lines. Let's see if anybody chooses to call me this evening. As I say, I've often said this, I'm waiting for the night when I open them up and nobody calls. And then I go, no, it's really over with. Right? Yeah. So anyway, give me a call. We are, if you don't know how to call our little program, go over to gabnet.net. Now, you won't miss anything because the video is showing over there as well. And you go over there and you check it out. And on the right-hand side of the page, it will tell you how you can call the program. Okay? Very simple process. No big deal. You know, just do it. Do it. But right now, this is what it looks like when nobody's calling. There it goes. See? It looks like that when nobody's calling. So, oh, well, Phil Meyer's calling, so I guess we have to do the show tonight, because if we don't, it'll be his complete waste of time. It's his complete waste of time anyway, but, you know. Hi, Phil.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
Yeah. Someone else has to call so you're not out of sync.
Oh, well, I just want to say that Patrick told me to let you know that it's going to be a Patrick-free week. So any of those callers that don't want to call because Patrick is on, feel free to call this week. All right?
He told me he was available on Friday, but I'm not going to be here Friday.
He said Friday he's getting a hand control inspection. What is that? You go like this?
What's a hand control inspection?
On his automobile. It's required that his handicapped hand controls be inspected once a year.
Yeah.
And he's having that done at 8 a.m. And I guess with all the preparation he has to do to go out and do whatever he does, he's going to go to sleep early and miss Friday.
Well, I'm not going to be here Friday, so that's Damien's problem.
Yeah, I understand.
I hope you will call. I hope you will call Damien when he's on.
I already spoke with Damien. Told him that I do.
Yeah, and I hope everybody else will too, even if you don't call me. Yeah.
Yeah. And but it is Patrick free, so. You guys who are worried about Patrick and his antics,
well, he's had something every day this week.
Yeah, I have his schedule.
Yes. Okay, let's look at the schedule here.
Yeah, he has an oil change, and which was today. Blood work on Thursday. Yeah. And his hand job inspection on Friday.
What?
His hand job inspection,
What do you mean his hand job? Is that what it's called?
No, it's not. Come on. I thought you worked funny.
Really? I'm trying to turn this thing off. I just found out that there we go. Okay. Now
is that working?
No. Now? Yeah, I'm trying to charge it. And sometimes when you're charging it, it also turns the thing on, and so therefore it's not really charging it. So okay.
Okay.
But now it'll be fine.
Yeah, so why is it so busy tonight? One of the things that happens is I listen to the feed to see when it's time to call. Yeah. But the feed seems to be very, very delayed depending on how many minutes in I started it. So therefore, if I have to look at the Skype and see if it's green because the feed isn't over. This is not anything you're doing. This is, you go to the website, you click on the YouTube feed, but if I click on 3 minutes or 4 minutes into the feed when it started, everybody
gets it at a different speed.
Yeah, I'm running 4 minutes late, let's say.
Yeah.
So you think that nobody's calling. It's just that if they're listening to it that way, they don't know it's time.
I don't know if you're 4 minutes late. If you were to reboot it, I think you'd find you'd be a little closer. Because,
well, it doesn't have anything to do with when I started it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I was finding. If I started right at 7 my time, I was right on with the feed. But if I started at 7:04, I was 4 minutes late.
They're lounging like some kind of old painting.
Yeah.
Is Brian Ludwig?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Not too good?
Not too bad.
Oh, not too bad. Oh, okay. Now, what are you eating tonight? You're always eating.
Candy.
Well, that's not good for you. Rots your teeth. It's got all that sugar. Gives you diabetes. Ask Phil. Phil knows about this.
You'll wind up like me. You know what? I had
And Phil, here's my answer to that. Here's my answer to that. Living will kill you.
Yes, but you know, it's easy to say that when you're... How old are you now, Brian?
Old enough to know that living will kill you.
No, wait a minute, Brian. How old are you? See,
36.
You're going to get to an age when you see all these people around you dying, right, Jeff? And you go, thank God, I guess I took better care of myself.
You know, today I had an EKG, and I failed it.
Or conversely, death can't be this busy that I can't be next.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had an EKG and you failed.
Right. Now they want to do another one, a nuclear EKG.
Is that a nuclear stress test?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So I've had that before, which prompted the angioplasties. But now...
is this a cancer or what?
Well, I had a nuclear stress.
Heart.
I had a nuclear stress test, and what they did was they radiated Marjorie, and then she started yelling at me.
Hey, talking about Marjorie, you know, Avenetti's girl that he's putting up against Kavanaugh looks a lot like Marjorie.
Really?
She's very pretty. As far as I'm concerned, this Avenatti girl, she must be credible because she's so pretty.
You know, I remember Playboy used to do things like the girls of Google, you know, the girls of this or the girls of that. I imagine it would be good if they're still around to do the girls of Avenatti.
Yeah, really. Well, this one's good looking. I'll let her speak. Well, anyway.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, the EKG. They want something to compare. It seems as though I went several minutes past what I needed to do, and everything was clear, and they saw one slight or abnormality that showed up and then went away. So that's why they want something. They want to do a comparison.
Let me ask you. Wait a minute. Did they put you on a treadmill?
Yes.
That's not an EKG.
Yeah, they wired me up.
No, that's a stress test.
Yeah, stress test.
Am I right, Jeff?
I'm not sure.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it was EKG. They had a printout.
No,
Phil, you actually were standing?
No, he was standing. Yeah, he was doing a treadmill. That's
about 8
stress
minutes.
Test.
That's a stress test.
Oh, well, but they put those things on you.
Because that's like EKG stuff, but it's to measure your rate, your heart rate when you're stressing yourself. Now, I can't do that because I do.
It looked like you're gesturing for nipple plants.
EKGs don't work on me. For some reason.
So why are you buying that watch?
Well, because I don't know. I have a mild aortic stenosis. Okay, and that throws it off. All right. Well, so anyway, let me finish what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they sent me out for a nuclear stress test, but the thing was that instead of putting me on a treadmill, they gave me a shot of something which started my heart beating like a bunny rabbit. And it was the most uncomfortable feeling I've ever had in my life. I felt I was going to die. Okay, and I bet some people do, right, Jeff? With the chemically induced stress test.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but
he said,
not like it's 80% of the people.
No.
One of the things they said this morning, I had it done at 8:30 this morning. One of the things they said was Do you have any chest pain? I said, no. Then they said, let's get the crash cart and have it as standby. So, you know,
wow.
In case you have a heart attack.
Well, I don't think you probably have. I think they probably got most of what your problem was. You know,
there was one artery that had a mild amount of block, and they didn't want to do anything. So that may be what they're seeing. So that my cardiologist wants to see the nuclear stress test and compare it to the non-nuclear stress test and see.
Have you ever had a nuclear stress test before?
Yeah, they shoot your hand. They put isotope of.
Well, they tell you don't get near pregnant women for 24 hours.
I don't even get near women. Okay. You know, they run in the other direction. You know.
Yeah. If
they think I'm Kavanaugh.
If Kavanaugh had taken that advice, he might not be having the problems he's having today. You know.
Yeah, really.
How did they all be sterile?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very good that you're getting all of this testing and trying to figure out what your little problems might be or might not be.
Well, Jeff, I requested this because Kaiser said that after they do an angioplasty, they don't give you another stress test. So I had a good rapport with my cardiologist, and I said, look, I want to get cleared for scuba diving. I said I could lie and say that I don't have any problems, but I said I'd rather not. You know, that's just not the way I do business.
Right.
So she said, hey, no problem, and she got me the stress test, and now I'm going to get another one.
And I do have an irrational fear of deep water that I can't see my own feet in, let alone to have a heart attack while under all that water. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's one of my worst nightmares. That aside from having to live the life over and over and over and over again.
Well, have they told you not to do scuba diving?
Well, the deal is if you've had a heart procedure, the medical scuba diving people, it's a group called DAN, Divers Alert Network. So these people say that if you want to get cleared after those kinds of procedures, have another stress test.
Oh, okay. But wait a minute. So let me ask you this question. Well, they put the balloon in there, but it doesn't stay in there, right?
They just stretch the artery. They insert the stent.
Okay. So, in other words, going down to high pressures, for instance, will that
it makes no difference.
It will not make a difference. Okay.
No, the only thing that happens under pressure is the air in the tank gets condensed, that your inner ear has some air in there that you have to equalize, otherwise you have expansion, which hurts, and then your mask. Those are the only things. Your mask has air in it, and so if you don't vent some of that air out as you're going deeper, you'll end up looking like a raccoon, and it'll bruise your face.
Does it also increase your heart pressure?
I don't think so. It's only the air spaces that it increases. And
I'm so-called certified scuba diver, but I haven't gone for 30 years. So at this point, I assume that whatever the surgeries I've had validates all of my.
Well, I was a
approval.
master. I'm a master diver. And Brian would say that's a masturbator, but and that's the highest level you can achieve as a non-professional. But I read a lot on I thought about becoming a dive master, and quickly decided that I didn't want to do anything like that. But I've read all about the physiology of diving, and so it's basic.
But it's all good. I'm glad you're taking care of yourself.
I'm curious. What's the dive master?
Dive master can take groups of people and escort them. They can do certain kinds of classes with divers that aren't certified. Usually pool intro.
There are two kinds of dive masters. One is a scuba diver, and the other isn't.
Yeah, Brian, what were you asking?
I was just saying I had a feeling it was either something, and I would have been wrong about this assumption, that it had additional skills you can perform on a solo basis, or, as I was correctly assuming, on the other hand, had something to do with having to deal with a bunch of bullshit assholes that you'd have to.
Yeah. I quickly decided that wasn't anything I was interested in.
That would even make your heart condition would make my heart condition even worse. I'm half your age.
Yeah, you got to watch these idiots that are down there, and
being the sadistic motherfucker that I am, I just let them die and probably pop and watch as they explode, or
I remember when I was a new diver. And I was probably getting nitrogen narcosis, which is like something that makes you feel drunk when you're underwater and you're a new diver. And I went down to 140 feet, and because I was just checking it out. And the dive master came and he grabbed me and said,
"Oh yeah,"
So hey, I was having a good time.
You were feeling no pain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get away from this. I'm sure the people out there would like to hear us do battle.
On who?
You and me, and Brian with his curse words, and
Snarky repertoire.
And Jeff every now and then says something very good, And by the way, look at Jeff. You should look at Jeff as a object of what you can be after having heart problems. Okay,
that's true.
Because I got to tell you, Jeff, I sat with you the other day at lunch, and I said to myself, this man looks remarkably healthy.
But he's only 29.
You would think that somebody who's got a pacemaker and a few things like that is going to be a little... No, this guy's the healthiest looking guy I've seen.
Alex,
all it takes is like about $3 million in the university.
Oh, I see.
Once a month.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
is, put you back together.
You look so good that 2 days dead, you're going to look better than any of us look right now.
Well,
So.
I was just going to say.
By the way, I just.
What?
Oh, you're talking. Go ahead.
I just found out today that the last person on what I call my parents' friends.
Yeah.
Died yesterday.
Oh boy!
So the guy who's like 99 years old.
Is that how old he was?
Did you say your parents were still alive, or your mother?
He went so soon.
Your mother or father is still alive? No. Okay.
No, Pam's mother is still alive.
Really? How old is she?
She's probably 80 something or other.
Okay. Well, you married a child, didn't you?
Yes, of course.
Well, look at him.
He says
the only way they could keep up with him was $3 million heart.
Yeah. Well, why do you think he had to have $3 million worth of heart work?
Yeah, to keep up with her.
Yeah. And there is today was a big news day. A lot of news.
Yes.
Really. Michael Avenatti, who, if he can pull this one off, I'm voting for president.
He's quite a guy, isn't
Who's got to be good, because anybody that anybody Trump calls names has got to be okay in my book. That's kind of a badge of courage.
I think he is a sleazebag.
Well, that's because you're like Trump. You'd like to call people names like that. Why is he a sleazebag?
But well, first of all, look at his eyes. They're really close set.
No, none of that.
He looks like a little rat, He looks like a rat.
None of that. You can't do it by the way people look.
Why not?
Well, if we did, you'd be in trouble.
Come on.
Hey, this is not coffee. It's formaldehyde.
I see. Okay. But
he always has a nice suit, nice tie. Looks good.
Yeah, he looks good. He's personable. He's
doesn't pay his taxes, but yeah, it's okay.
What do you mean he doesn't pay his taxes?
I think that was his deal. He has some tax beef that came up.
Well, obviously it wasn't serious because he's not in jail.
Well, he's probably doing whatever he has to do as an attorney to keep himself out of jail for a while, but he'll be in jail soon enough. I don't remember the particulars, but it wasn't...
Oh, well, I see. So you accuse when you don't remember the particulars.
Hey, it's just like the three women that are accusing...
Oh, the three women? Well, the latest one is a little more specific.
Oh yeah, she had a dildo.
No, she's a little more specific. Plus, and remember
took
this,
a train?
Phil.
Yeah.
She signed a deposition, which if she's lying on any of it, she could be arrested for perjury.
Well, this one, Avenetti's girl, actually has some top secret.
She's a woman.
And some
She's
other
a woman
things.
to begin with. Yes, she works for the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the U.S. government too.
Yeah.
Well,
not just the Russian government.
Not the
like
Russian.
Trump.
How do you know?
Yeah.
It could be the Chinese interfering with our election.
All I'm saying is
that they're trying to call for.
All I'm saying is this one, Avenetti's woman, actually signed a signed deposition on pain of perjury if she's lying, and told the truth as best she knows it, you know. And she says she's seen this creep going around drugging women.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. You give it.
I don't believe her.
Why don't you believe her? You haven't heard? Have you read her entire deposition? I have.
The deposition, no.
Well, then, if you haven't read it, how do you know she's lying?
Because her deposition could be as she believes it to be. There's three realities there,
wait a
Mr.
minute.
Bennett.
Why are you so fast to not believe these women?
Okay, I'll tell you why.
Because you're a sexist fucker.
Yeah, there's three realities. There's reality as you believe it to be, reality as you believe others believe it to be, and reality as it really is. And she could be, I believe that she's working and off a different reality. She doesn't remember when this took place, what year. She has no facts. She's saying that there was this guy.
Wait a minute.
He had his diary.
Hold on a second.
He had his diary.
Yes, and his diary jibed with what she was saying.
Beach Week. How do you know it was him?
That was on his diary.
Yeah, but that was Beach Week for the entire school, and a number of schools. It's like when remember when they would all go to Palm Springs.
Hey, if it's Beach Week next week at school, I'm not writing Beach Week in big letters across the whole week on my calendar in my own handwriting.
That's because you don't go.
I'll believe in FBI investigation over a diary.
What is it that they used to eat? It was spring break. Spring break, they would all go to Palm Springs, and I remember my friend George. He would go there, and he'd be screwing this woman and that woman. It was just people were going crazy, and this was in the 70s and early 80s, and this is what they do.
Please, Renee,
now just because they're doing it, and she got screwed, and somebody trained her. She had a train. And she thinks she was drugged. Everybody was probably
what's
doing
amazing
drugs.
to me is that your immediate assumption is they're lying.
Yeah, my immediate assumption is you're innocent until proven guilty.
Well, no, that's an wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's only true in a court of law.
No. It's true in life.
No, it's true in a court of law.
It's called the Constitution.
Well,
people have rights. If you're going to be accused of anything,
the woman that is testifying tomorrow has taken a lie detector test. This one has signed. Wait a minute. Let me finish.
All right.
This woman has signed a deposition on penalty of perjury, swearing that what she's saying is true. Okay. Meanwhile, what has Brett, what's his name, done? He has not taken a lie detector test. Wait a minute, let me finish. And he has not sworn testimony.
Yes, he has.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't taken a lie detector test.
Yeah,
but that lie detector.
His oath.
Hold it, Alex. You want to argue with me? Let's argue. If the lie detector test was given by her own attorneys and her own people from the Democratic Party, this was not an independent lie detector
from the Democratic Party. How do you know? I didn't hear that.
Well, that's what they said on TV. Well, that's because you listen to the Communist News Network. If you listen to Fox, you'd get a little bit of real news.
Calm down a second. To begin with, she took the test, and like all lie detector tests, they are not admissible in court. Okay, that's for starters. The reason they're not is there is a variable reliability in them, and it also depends upon the tester. Supposedly, this person who was doing the test was a real polygraph, really good polygrapher.
Retired.
Polygrapher, that's what they call them.
And it was not her attorney doing it. Which
no, her attorney set it up. So
you didn't say that before.
Well, okay. Well, he didn't let me get it out. Now, the other thing is, all the witnesses that she said were in the room have sworn statements that say they weren't there, they're not aware of it, and Brett, the judge.
Well, they've only said that they have only said that they have not sworn to it. The reason they probably wait a minute, Phil, can I talk?
Only if you let me talk.
Well, but I'm not going to let you do a monologue here, okay?
Oh, okay.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. See?
All right. Well, and now you made me forget. So, anyway, there's the testimony.
Well, what I was going to say is before I forget it, is that people in this kind of case, if they are asked to testify, were you there, were you not there? No, I wasn't there, or I don't remember, because they don't want to get in the middle of this whole thing. And they're not being sworn. They're not being sworn. It's not a sworn deposition they're giving. They're just saying, no, I didn't see any such thing. Leave me alone.
These,
What do you think the chances are these people didn't want to talk because they didn't want to get involved?
They signed an ex parte declaration and order. An ex parte declaration order is testimony that's given under oath and sworn. Under perjury. But they're not in a court.
You really want to not believe these women. You really don't want to believe these women.
I want to make sure that justice
I will bet you that before this thing is over, Kavanaugh withdraws his nomination.
He is standing up saying that he wants to clear his name. Before he has
to testify in this deal, he is going to withdraw his nomination.
And I bet you Ford doesn't show up to tell her story. But I believe Kavanaugh isn't he? It's 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, which is 7 o'clock my time. So we'll see if Kavanaugh testifies. We'll see if he withdraws. Why should he withdraw if he testifies?
He's not supposed to testify tomorrow.
Is it? No, it's tomorrow at 10 a.m.
She's testifying Eastern. Tomorrow. He will testify on Friday.
I thought they were having the vote on Friday.
Well, they're trying to get to the vote on Friday, but I don't think they're going to get to the vote because I don't think they're going to have them by the time they get to that point. Because already they've lost Susan Collins, and all they need to do is lose another one. There's no way he's going to get out of committee.
Well, how do you know they've lost Susan Collins before any of them testify? The only person here is that says, hey, I'll listen to the testimony is Trump, and then I'll make up my mind. That's what he said today. He says, hey, I'm going to go in with an open mind.
This is the first time he's shown it. He's looking for a way to weasel out and say, well, I told you I'd get out of this if I needed to. I would pull it back if I needed to. But up until now, he's been very staunch about this thing. That's the first time you've heard him have doubts.
I don't think it's a doubt. I think all he's doing is saying, hey, he'll listen to what they have to say, and if they convince him otherwise, then he'll change his mind.
He's never given himself that out up to this point.
It's not an out.
It is an out.
Well, it's not an out if they're telling the truth. And if he believes that they're telling the truth...
What does this woman tomorrow have to do in order to get you to believe her story?
She's got to have a train.
No. Come on, Phil. What does she have to do? Are you going to listen to her? Are you going to listen? Are you going to listen to her? Are you going to listen to her with an open mind?
Yeah, but I have no idea how she's going to have credibility when she doesn't even know what year the thing took place, where it took place, where she was, and the people that said that. I think
you're wrong about that, Phil. I think you're absolutely wrong about that. Stop listening to Fox.
Well, you stop listening to CNN.
I don't listen to CNN.
You probably listen to something worse than that.
No, I read
Al Jazeera.
I read the newspaper and I look at the news as it comes across the wires. Now, what I saw today from Avenatti was very damning and also very particular and a sworn statement. So,
okay, so where is this sworn statement published?
It's published. It's in the. He ran it as part of one of his tweets. It is.
I don't
go
I don't
to
get
MSNBC has published it. The complete signed document.
Okay.
Well,
the complete works of Michael Avenatti.
Go get it now, Phil. Go on the MSNBC.
Right. MSNBC.
Yeah, I know they have it. I think also it's on Twitter. If you look up Michael Avenatti. He also published the picture of his client, which was something that...
Very nice.
Well, no, I know, but he did it because he wanted to prove she exists, you know.
Okay, so this says fourth accuser comes forward with allegation. So let me see if I can find... very pretty. All right. I'll talk to Jeff and Brian. Let me see what I can find.
No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Maybe I can find it faster for you.
Yeah, I'm looking on a phone.
NBC. Yeah. Why don't you get yourself a tablet?
Well, I got a tablet, but I keep forgetting to charge it. I got a iPad Pro, the 12-inch one.
Forward with the allegations. Let's see here. Did they publish them here? No. I'm trying to find it because they supposedly said they published it, but it was a tweet from Avenatti.
Now, Avenatti says his accuser client may pursue a criminal charge. How can she pursue a criminal charge 35 years later?
I don't think she can.
No, this is grandstanding. This whole thing is nothing more than a ruse, and they should be ashamed of themselves. They had this information over 2 months ago. If they wanted an investigation, they should have presented it either during the hearing or when they first got the letter. You know, this is nothing more than
you're not bullshit. Reading her statement, Phil.
I can't find her statement.
Well, then go. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find something. What's her name again?
Julie
Swetnick.
Yeah.
Swetnick. Okay. Julie Swetnick. What's it called? Deposition?
No, I don't know. Statement, maybe?
Statement. Presentation?
Statement. I'll go statement.
Statement.
Oh, God, I can't even type tonight. Statement.
I'm not having much more luck on a phone.
The third woman accused. Read the full statement from Brett Kavanaugh's accuser. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Let me move it over onto this page so that I can see the whole thing. Let me see here. Where is it? Okay, here it is, but I can't read it because it's. You go to CNBC. They have it. My name is Julie Swetnick. I'm a resident of Washington, D.C. I fully understand the seriousness of the statements contained within this declaration. I have personal knowledge of the information stated herein, and if called to testify to the same, would and could do so. I am a graduate of Gaithersburg High School in Gaithersburg, Maryland. I presently hold the following active clearances associated with working with the federal government: Public Trust, U.S. Department of Treasury, DOT, U.S. Mint, and the Internal Revenue Service. I have also previously held the following clearances, and goes on with Customs and Border Protection, Department of Homeland Security. She's got a nice... nice
file.
Nice file. Okay. I first met Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh in approximately 1980 to 1981. I was introduced to them at a house party that I attended in Washington, D.C. area. I observed Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh as extremely close friends during the early 1980s when I knew them and interacted with them. I would describe them as joined at the hip, and I consistently saw them together in many social settings. There is no question in my mind that Mark Judge has significant information concerning the conduct of Brett Kavanaugh during the 1980s, especially as it relates to his actions towards women. Following that first introduction, I attended well over 10 house parties in the Washington, D.C. area during the years 1981 to 1983, where Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were present. These parties were a common occurrence in the area and occurred nearly every weekend during the school year. On numerous occasions at these parties, I witnessed Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh drink excessively and engage in highly inappropriate conduct, including being overly aggressive with girls and not taking no for an answer. This conduct included the fondling and grabbing of girls without their consent.
Was she grabbed?
We haven't gotten to anything like that yet, Phil. And why do you ask that?
Because this is hearsay.
No, she saw it. No, she saw it. It's not hearsay. She saw it, Phil.
And where are these girls that were fondled? How come they haven't come forward?
Will you listen
to the
All
right. discussion?
I observed Brett Kavanaugh drink excessively at many of these parties and engage in abusive and physically aggressive behavior towards girls, including pressing girls against him without their consent and grinding against girls and attempting to remove or shift girls' clothing to expose private body parts. By the way, it says here, the key word here is I observed. All right? I likewise observed him to be verbally abusive towards girls by making crude sexual comments to them that were designed to demean, humiliate, and embarrass them. I often witnessed Brett Kavanaugh speak in a... Hold on a second. I'm getting lightheaded doing this. Yeah, this is weird.
Maybe you need an EKG.
Huh? No, well, anyway, I often witnessed Brett Kavanaugh speak in a demeaning manner to girls in general, as well as specific girls by name. I also witnessed Brett Kavanaugh behave as a mean drunk on many occasions at these parties. I have been told by other women that his conduct also occurred during the summer months in Ocean City. I'm so getting dizzy reading this. So.
Don't. We'll see what happens if they have this information, and these Democrats are going to quiz Kavanaugh either tomorrow or.
Yeah, wait a minute. It said I also witnessed efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to cause girls to become inebriated and disoriented, so they could then be gang raped in a side room or bedroom by a train of numerous boys. I have a firm recollection of seeing boys lined up outside rooms, many of these parties, waiting their turn with a girl inside the room. These boys included Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh said that he was a virgin up until when he was a virgin through high school and into college.
Wow. And, let me finish this off. It says, I declare under penalty of perjury and under the laws of the United States of America that the foregoing is true and correct. I have executed this declaration on September 25th, 2018. So,
well, we'll see.
There it is. I'm sweating. God, it's hot in here. Anyway, yes, Brian.
Dovetail with what you just read there. Not only does it make me do allegations and stories like that make me a little sick in my stomach, they always kind of have in my adult years, but even if it were the most suppliest, twinkie-ish boy, I wouldn't engage in a gang rape on him or a gang fuck on him. I just all those people, all those that one hole.
Well, she was subject to one of these rapes, but she not by Kavanaugh and Judge. She doesn't claim that Kavanaugh or Judge.
General principle, but more specifically that of course.
She also states in there that they would spike the drinks and that she then would go to those parties and not drink the punch for that very reason.
Didn't she say she was drunk?
Huh?
At those, she would get drunk at those parties.
She got dosed.
Dosed or drunk?
No, she didn't say she was drunk. She said she didn't drink the punch because she didn't knew what was in it.
Right, but she still got drunk.
No, she didn't say that.
It was said not in this statement, but on the news.
On the news, it said it. How do they know she was drunk?
That's what they said.
Did it say? I don't know, because I couldn't read the whole thing. I witnessed that during. They would target particular girls so they could be taken advantage of, It was unusual, usually a girl that was especially vulnerable because she was alone at the party or shy. So,
I'm sure if this is the truth, others will come forward.
There are others.
Well, we'll see.
There's supposedly one waiting in the wings right now that we're talking about tonight.
So let the Democrats drag them in and
the
interview
Democrats
them.
aren't dragging them in. You know, I mean, the only reason Feinstein knew about this other woman was because it had been brought to her, but she was asked to not reveal it. And then it
reveal her name, but not necessarily the information that was in the letter.
No, not reveal the story or anything.
I thought she wanted to remain anonymous, and when they first revealed this letter, she said that the person is anonymous, but she wanted the letter to be
she said
brought out.
She doesn't want the story revealed.
Then why did she reveal it?
Because she got outed. Because somebody knew who she was. I think it was either a shrink or whatever, and went to some, I think, newspaper and said who she was. And that's when Dianne Feinstein said, okay, I've got the... she then got a call that said, it's all right with us if you want to pull her before the committee.
Well, I would like to see the questioning of
I don't know why
Kavanaugh.
you are so reticent. So reticent.
Why are you so?
Why are you so
convict
wedded?
this guy?
Why are you so wedded?
You're going to call this guy every name under the sun?
Why are you so wedded to this creep show?
Because
Brett
I believe in
Kavanaugh?
Justice. And when people are accused,
then if you believe
that's
in
when
justice,
they have rights.
Then if you believe in justice, listen to this woman tomorrow and hear what she has to say.
Absolutely.
And I know what you're going to do. You're going to listen to it through a biased ear and come back with your own idea of what she said.
And you're not?
No. No, if she doesn't come through tomorrow, number one, I'm going to be disappointed. But I will have to admit that she didn't come through.
Well, even if she doesn't come through, she's made an accusation. The other guy denies it. It's in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. So
no, only in a court of law, Phil.
No, this is a sworn hearing.
Try and say
it's
that.
As good as a court of law
because then say that to Kevin Spacey.
His reputation
say that
is being destroyed.
A lot of people who've been accused by the Me Too movement who can't work now. Innocent until proven guilty? No, absolutely not.
This is no different than the trial, the McCarthy era trials that you're so vehemently against, and this is the same thing.
No, this is not the same thing.
Yeah, the whole Me Too movement is the same thing.
No, this is not the same thing. This is a man who's put himself up for a job which allows a scrutiny to be opened on him. Okay,
and he's open to the scrutiny.
And obviously he's not.
Well, he's there. He says he's going to answer. He's going to answer questions. He's going to be grilled by the Democrat on the committee.
We'll see what happens. Whether by then, it depends tomorrow what happens. But I think if she makes a good showing, a positive showing, he's going to withdraw his nomination.
He may have to.
And secretly behind the scenes, he's going to withdraw it because Trump is going to tell him to withdraw it.
That's a possibility.
Yes.
Bryant's got his hand.
Bryant.
Yeah, it is not the same. Only because, unlike Mr. Kavanaugh in the position he is applying for and being vetted for, someone like Kevin Spacey, as I've said before, I've been on record as saying vociferously before, people like Kevin Spacey, unless they're doing the perp walk, I wouldn't have fired them from the House of Cards show. Unlike Mr. Kavanaugh, the decisions that Kevin Spacey makes as an actor does not affect the general American populace in mass.
What about his family?
The decisions that Kavanaugh would make would.
What about his family? What about,
then he should be due his day. Fuck his family, and I'll tell you why. He put him in this position.
Only if he's guilty, and you're assuming he's guilty.
No, he put them in this position because he opened himself to this kind of scrutiny, and that would affect his family. If he cared that much about his family, he would have said no to the proposition that he should.
Why, if he's not guilty, why should he say no? You know, if he hadn't done anything,
because I think
if these accusations are specious,
I didn't think he would get. He probably didn't think he would get blowback from what went on years ago.
We'll see. They're going to testify. We'll see if there's blowback. You know, all of a sudden, if you have two Republicans that don't vote for this guy.
Where's Renee when we need her now? Where's Renee when we need her? You know, I having a hard time keeping up, but I was lightheaded, man. I started sweating like crazy.
What's the temperature in New York?
It's humid tonight. It's humid tonight, and I have the air conditioner on. Yeah.
It was raining like crazy this afternoon.
Yeah.
Hey, I got that swamp cooler thing. I moved it into the bedroom.
Boy,
the thing works great.
You're changing the discussion.
Well, I'm just letting you know there's a way to cool the room down without having to use an air conditioner.
Well, I've had those swamp coolers, and they didn't do shit.
This one, you put ice in and water.
But I don't want to have to go through all that. And then you have to empty the water.
No, you just let it run until this water's gone. It's about 3-4 hours. It's gone.
Anyway, so I don't know why I was lightheaded there, but I think it was because I was reading this stuff. Anyway.
It's because of the lies that you were promulgating.
Yes, right.
Did it stop?
Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Renee. I need a woman on this panel right now. I need a woman because I need a woman. Oh, God, do I need a woman on this panel.
Well, so did Kavanaugh.
Hello, Renee.
Hello. Renee's in the car driving back from Costco, so she only got to listen to Phil's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have to say about it?
Try not to wreck.
I want everyone. Thank you, Brian. I want every one of you who are not men out there to be turning on to tomorrow's actual hearing. Bill, we would love to go to court with this, but the people who are not allowing us to go to court with this are you.
How can you go to court with a 35-year-old accusation?
In the state of Maryland, you can.
I don't know that to be true. I think there's a statute of limitations on anything.
Not in the state of Maryland, there is not.
Okay. Who's going to look it up?
Because that was her home state, she can go and file. She can file against him, which I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be doing. And number two, I want everyone to listen to this tomorrow, because whether you believe it or not, you're going to have to listen to it only so that you can discuss this on an educated basis tomorrow night and on Friday night. But Phil, what Alex tells you one thing and you immediately believe the news station as opposed to what Alex tells you. And I don't understand why that is, but that's completely your choice. You can't. There are so many women coming out against him now. There's more than four. Don't you think that's enough? Don't you think one was enough?
Not the way it was presented. Not the way it was presented by Feinstein. If it was legitimate, she should have come forward with it. And they've had months to find other people that didn't want to be outed, that wanted to be outed. And
you're saying that because she didn't present it to you the way you want it presented to you, you're going to say she's not worth
No,
shit.
she presented it.
Dianne Feinstein didn't present it to you the way you feel warm and fuzzy about it.
Yes, because what she did, she should be brought up on charges.
Who?
And Feinstein. And and if this thing turns out to be a hoax. If this turns out to be a hoax, I want to see her tarred and feathered.
You know what? If it turns out to be a hoax, I'm on your side. But that means you have to listen to this whole thing tomorrow.
Of course I will.
I remember watching this 28 years ago. And I remember being horrified by how much bullshit still continues on this planet. So tomorrow, everybody gets to learn about how pissed off women are and how we don't need you people touching us. And now that I'm saying this about women, it's the same thing for Alex. Alex talked about his rape or attempted rape. Ray has talked about people groping him. You men and people, and because this is all men, this is probably, well, except for Alex is the woman, you got to remember, we don't need you touching us. We don't need you whipping out your dick in the middle of a business meeting. We don't need your hands on us, and there's no business function that I need to go to where you get to do such things to me.
Okay.
It's against the law.
Okay, listen to this. If the alleged event took place in Montgomery County, there is no statute of limitations on rape, attempted rape in Maryland. Now, the thing is, the people, the woman that Avenatti has did not participate in any of it. She says it was just an observation, according to Alex. So, unless the women that were trained, huh?
I think.
Okay, so you're saying in the state of...
No, she's breaking up on us.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying, if you can hear me, is that you're right. There is no.
So Avenatti could file criminal charges and also sue these people.
Not on this, not for this woman, but if the women that were in the train, for instance, came forward, then they could press charges, because there was no attempted rape and no rape of this.
This woman was eventually part of a train.
No, she said...
No, at the end, she says that I was... Wait a minute, hold on a second. In approximately 1982, I became the victim of this gang or train rapes, where Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were present. Boy, I'm getting dizzy again. Shortly after the incident... Wait a minute. I shared what had transpired with at least 2 other people. During the incident, I was incapacitated without my consent and unable to fight off the boys raping me. I believe I was drugged using Quaaludes or something similar that was placed in what I was drinking. So
I left Washington D.C. in 1980. So, and I didn't go to I didn't go to these kind of parties over in Maryland. I was in the disco. I was dancing in the clubs in D.C. So, and I have been present at one of these events where I was stupid enough not to go into that bedroom and kill all of those men that were raping that woman. I didn't do it, and I really should have, but I wasn't smart enough. So I've seen these men lined up outside these doors where the woman is incapacitated, laying on a bed, and one guy after another goes in after her.
She also says
she said that that Judge and Kavanaugh were present. She didn't say that they were participants.
She said that she saw them lined up with the other boys waiting to go in.
Yep.
That still doesn't mean they did it.
Oh, Jesus.
No, but it means that they were intending. Their intent was
what about the fact that they were the ones spiking the punch?
Yeah.
How does she know that?
She observed it firsthand.
Did we have this entire conversation about Bill Cosby and Quaaludes and how it was acceptable at a particular point in time? And
Bill Cosby was at that party.
Well, and your pedophile Fat Albert is going to jail, so yay. And and Alex is correct. You have to start labeling these people what they are.
Well, they're not. All they are is accused, and that means they got rights.
Bill Cosby is a convicted...
I'm talking about Kavanaugh.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So,
why?
If Kavanaugh doesn't want to go to court, but if he wants to go to court, he's already got 3 women lined up, 3 or 4 women lined up to go. So when you said that this isn't a court of law, it's not, but we're more than happy to go there.
And he's got 64 women that have come out and supported him and said that this is not the Kavanaugh that they know, and they've known him since high school. So, you know...
So
but you don't believe that. You don't believe that. You only believe the drunk accuser.
No, the 64 women are just people he professionally knows.
No, some of them he dated while he was in high school and college.
And stop calling them women.
Well, what are they?
If you're towing the line for a rapist, they're female. They're not women.
That doesn't cut any mustard.
Breeders. That's
okay.
what these Republican women are. They're
come on. You're prejudiced.
I'm not prejudiced. I want them to grow the fuck up and be women. But they won't. They
what's that got to do with
women?
With someone who's a victim that is coming out and accusing someone who says he's innocent? Therefore, he's innocent until proven guilty. I don't care if it's a court of law or not. It's called we have rights in this country, and that's one of them.
No, and so what you just said was contradiction. You said, so I can accuse anybody of anything, but I have to take you to court to prove it, right? And that's what you said.
Yeah.
Now you're saying that you don't care if this isn't a court of law. She's still going to say what she's going to say. So if she wants to take this guy to court, or if any of these women can take this guy to court, then I think they should do so. But
well, if this happened in Montgomery, if this happened in Montgomery County, according to what I just read, they can.
Okay. Well, so after tomorrow, we'll all hear about what's going to happen, and then we can all make an adult decision on what we are going to do about it.
Until then, the jury's out.
Hold on a second. 68 women came up there and said that he's a good guy means nothing.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Phil. What if she testifies tomorrow and seems quite credible? In other words, she gives the answers and presents herself well. Then what kind of decision do you make? Or are you automatically? I mean, when you're saying you shouldn't pre-convict somebody, I think you're pre-convicting the women in this case.
No, I'll answer the question. The question is, if she seems credible to the point where I believe her, then I believe her.
Oh, well, you believing her is a big job.
It might be, but that's the job she's going to have to do for me to believe that she's credible and correct.
Do you want a guy of questionable quality on the Supreme Court?
I don't know that he's a questionable quality. Let's see what she has to say, and let's see what he has to say.
What about
you're jumping the gun?
Let's go back a couple of days. What were the first 2 days that Brett Kavanaugh opened up with Zena Bash sitting behind him? So the first 2 days of his interview for the highest, most prestigious job that you can get in America as far as lawyers go.
I thought that was a podcast guy. Who is Dina Bash? Isn't that the CNN lady?
Flash Assange.
Huh?
No. She's
Dana Bash.
That sat behind him and flashed that OK sign.
Dana Bash is a CNN commentator. Oh, I don't know who Zena Bash is.
Okay, so she sat behind him for 2 days. Now, the first day, if I was an adult, I would have said, you know what? I didn't know you were going to do this. You should have asked me. You should not have been sitting behind me doing this without my permission.
What was she doing?
But the second day, he had her in the same place, and she was doing the same thing. And
what was she doing? I didn't notice anything. I was watching him. I was watching his wife. I was watching his children. I didn't notice anybody behind him doing anything out of the ordinary.
So he allowed this person that you say makes great choices, allowed this person to sit behind him for 2 freaking days doing something that could possibly jeopardize his stature in the legal land, and he didn't have a problem with it.
Do you think that it's Kavanaugh, that makes the seating chart for the people that come into that gallery?
Yes, he does.
I don't think so.
Absolutely, he does.
He's not in charge there.
He chooses who is going to sit in back of him.
Trump does, but I don't know about him.
Yes, he does.
No, so he does, and the reason he does is because Condoleezza bitch cunt Rice was behind him for some of that time too.
So who is this? Who is this? Who is this lady that you have? Who is this lady that you have such a problem with, Renee?
Google it. Zena Bash. Google it. Not
Zena.
my job.
Dina Bash.
Dina.
Yeah.
It's So I'm driving in a car. I'm not Googling his thing. But
well, you know who it is. I don't know who it is. Dina
he sat
Bash.
there for 2 freaking days flashing that sign. And name one professional that any of you know that would have allowed that to happen.
It comes up Dana Bash. And Dana Bash is a CNN commentator. I don't see any. I don't see a Dina Bash.
What's the name of the brown-haired lady who sat behind him in a second? We all know this.
Well, don't get in an accident.
No, I've stopped. Oh. But I can't turn off my air conditioning because it's on. Hold on. What is her name? She sat behind... I'll have to wait until I get inside. Maybe tomorrow night. Hold on, there she is.
Oh, you know that Dana Bash's husband died and that she's married to John King. I don't know who that is.
Who wants to talk about the really shitty thing that the wife of Les Munoz did?
What did you
Zina, okay, I'm sorry. It's Zina, Z-I-N-A. Last name is B-A-S-H. She, for 2 days, she sat behind him in what was his most important trial of his entire career, flashing the white power sign.
Oh, so you agree that it's a trial. Zina Bash.
I'm just reading what
she's an attorney and a senior counsel.
To him. And you saw what she did?
No, she's from Mexico.
Then I don't give a shit where she's from. But he allowed that. He allowed that for 2 days.
Well, maybe he believes in free speech. Maybe he believes in free. Renee, maybe he believes in free speech, which is something that Democrats don't do.
Hold on a second. You're getting ridiculous, Phil. You know, I'm a little out of it right now. Anyway,
what have you been taking?
I know I got off this pill, and I think this may be a slight flashback with the not taking the what was it? Whatever I was taking. Anyway,
it says that she's just
enough of this. Enough
as a counsel.
Enough. Zina Bash is a counsel for him.
No, for the Texas Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
Current Texas Attorney General.
Are you still there?
What?
And she sat behind him. Wait, hold on a second.
Well, she went to Harvard and Wharton. Why wouldn't you let a person sit in the audience that has these kinds of credentials?
Did you see what she did?
No, I didn't see what she did.
What did she do?
Look it up.
What
she says? I looked it up. All it is a Wikipedia page. I looked it up. It's just a Wikipedia page. That's the only thing that comes up on her. I think that you're imagining things. This is your dog whistles.
Okay. All right. Enough of this. Phil is going to be the sexist pig that he always has been and continue to be when he's not going to believe the word of a woman because, God forbid, she should have an opinion.
Can I give you a sound for that?
No.
Thank you. No.
That's a pig.
Yeah. Well, you're a cop. Anyway.
No shit.
It fits. Did anybody happen to see, number one, the most embarrassing thing I've seen our president do yet? Today he was giving a speech at the Security Council, which he was chairing, and he gave a speech, and he read it off a piece of paper because he didn't have teleprompters. He sounded like a 6-year-old in first grade reading from a primer.
So what?
That's exactly how he sounded. It was he couldn't.
So what?
What do you mean? So what? This is a.
So the guy is not a good public speaker like Obama, but he's doing plenty for this country.
He's not doing shit for this country, Phil. He's not doing shit for this country.
They interviewed the president of South Korea, and he had nothing but good things to say about him.
You know why?
Yeah, because he's doing the right thing and he's going to make it
it's
a
not
nuclear-free
it's not that we're
peninsula.
pouring a ton of money into that place, and he didn't get the rumors that a particular document was taken off of Trump's desk that would have done away with that, and that he doesn't want to jeopardize all that money coming into South Korea.
South Korea has plenty of money. Their economy is thriving.
But they are getting billions from us every year.
Yeah,
Billions.
because they don't pay for their own defense.
No, because we've got to shore up the defense of the area because it's in our best interest.
Yeah, well, now they're talking about unification between the North and the South.
Anyway, you're taking us off.
And even Trump
you're taking
also
us
came
off
out
of
and
what
said
I was saying, Phil.
Yeah.
I was saying that this guy reads like a 6th grader reading a primer aloud in school. That's how bad he was.
Okay, so don't give him a show on Gabnet.
Yeah, I won't.
All right.
Okay. Secondly, he then did a press conference that lasted 80 agonizing minutes.
I thought it was great.
He
answered questions.
He never answered a question. He would be asked, hold on a second, Phil, listen to me now, and shut up and keep quiet.
You want my pig scream? All right, go ahead.
I can't do it. I'm like lightheaded and everything tonight.
Oh, let's talk about something else.
No. I've got to get this across. He, the New York Times finally asked him a question. What kind of message do you think this is sending along to young men? And Trump did what Trump did throughout that entire press conference. He answered another question altogether and never got around to answering that question. And then when he was finished, he said, so thank you for your question from the New York Times. And the guy at the New York Times said as he was walking out the door, what about the message to young men?
Well, I think Trump is finally becoming a politician. You should be proud of him.
All I'm saying is that it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Also, China's trying to sabotage the campaign.
Obviously, he has information.
How come he is? Oh, you always say that about him. You always say that about presidents. Maybe he doesn't have that information and he's pulling it out of his ass. Is there that possibility? Hey,
there's all these secrets that they've got. And, what's in Area 51? Is there really a Martian?
You're doing exactly what he does. We weren't talking about Area 51,
Phil.
Well,
the guy knows stuff that we don't know. That's because he's the president of the United States. They tell him this shit.
You know something? He doesn't know that much because he doesn't study the stuff that's put in front of him.
You can just like you're accusing Kavanaugh of being guilty before the facts are out and presented. You're thinking that Trump doesn't know. I'm sure he knows. He's the president. He gets briefed on this shit.
Yeah. And do you think he doesn't? Do you know the story is they have to give him a very fast briefing because he has an attention span of a gnat?
That's what they say. But I think that the people that are working for him, whether it's John Bolton or
what do you think about these? What do you think about the fact that today he was accusing China of trying to manipulate the election because they took out some ads in a Detroit newspaper which were blatantly marked advertisement and said they're trying to overthrow the campaign by doing that. Secondly, how come he didn't mention Russia? He never mentions Russia. It never leaves his lips.
Well, yeah. I know why he doesn't.
Everybody in this fucking country, in the government, in the CIA, the NSA, all of them agree Russia meddled in our elections. Do you ever hear him say that?
Yes, he made big sanctions against Russia.
No,
he
made
big sanctions.
No, but it wasn't over that.
Yeah, it was over.
No, it wasn't over that.
The meddling.
No, it wasn't.
You got to Google that.
It was over Syria.
No, that Syria also. And what he said was, when he met with Putin, they talked about Syria. They talked about the Ukraine.
And then he sucked his dick.
He says, "What do you want him to do?
When
Punch
it
the guy in the mouth?"
When it came to the press conference after it was over, he's sucking his dick throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be happy if he punched him in the mouth, right? That would really get us.
I think that it would be suitable.
In good stead.
I think it would be
suitable. That would allow a conversation.
But his short little fingers couldn't possibly roll themselves up into a fist.
Well, not to say that Putin wouldn't kick his ass, but
yeah. Anyway, oh boy.
All right.
Just.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see what the testimony is, and then you can possibly keep an open mind as to whether she's telling the truth or not. We'll see.
I don't care.
There's a sex crimes attorney from Arizona that's going to be asking her the questions. I'm sure they're going to be respectful. I'm sure they're going to treat her with all the respect that she deserves, and they know how to ask the questions. They'll ask them, and they'll get down to the bottom of it. This person's a professional when it comes to sex crimes, and the remaining Democrats that are on that committee can grill Kavanaugh and see how they do. I mean, we'll see what Feinstein asks him, because she didn't ask him anything during the conference. During the hearings, she basically powder puffed it and had this thing in her back pocket the whole time, waiting to sabotage him.
Well, don't vote for her when she runs for senator again, if she does.
I won't.
Yeah. Wait a minute, we can't hear you, Renee. Were you saying something? What? No, it can't. Your audio isn't on. You're at your house. Why don't you just hang up on us and then use your computer to call us back? No, we can't hear you.
I might not hear you either.
Does her cell phone have an antenna?
Yeah.
You just got
a cell phone with an antenna? I haven't had a cell phone that had an antenna that you pulled up.
Those
since
antennas,
the 90s.
Those antennas never did anything.
Yeah.
Those little plastic antennas, they had they did nothing.
Felt good.
It felt good, but they did nothing. You don't need them. You really don't need them. So
yeah,
Oh boy, I'm out of it tonight, man. I think it's the pill. Since I
you could be coming off of those things.
I didn't take it last night. Yeah.
Aren't those the things that cause most people to be either suicidal or homicidal?
Well, it's amitriptyline, and I wrote my guy yesterday, and I said, hey, I get up in the morning, and now I'm forgetting small tasks, how to do small tasks at the computer. I said, this thing is really making me loopy. And he said, if you're having side effects, just stop it. So I'm just stopping it. But I hear there are side effects when you just stop it. So
right, yeah,
So
is that one of the side effects of this? That
who knows?
Forget you're having motor skills or small tasks.
I'm just feeling lightheaded. Felt like I was almost going to pass out there for a second. I was sweating, so probably just anxiety of some sort. Because I checked my heart rate, and my heart rate's fine. So
did you get the new watch yet?
No, not yet. No. No, you can't lay your hands on one of them. That's another thing I hate about Apple. Outside of the fact that if you try to fucking install their new OS, it keeps fucking up on you.
Apple moved their store across the street from where they were in Walnut Creek, and I drove down the street, and as you're driving there at the end of the block, and you see it was packed at 9 o'clock at night. It was totally packed with people. It looked and exciting. There was these big TVs up on the wall that must have been three of them 6 feet wide, and they had video shows going on. It's amazing what these guys are able to accomplish when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, but then you can market all you want, but if you don't have stock that people can buy, how good a marketing job is that?
Well, if you hold things back, just like De Beers does with diamonds.
Well, that's exactly what they did, and I think somebody should investigate this, because people are being put out of the way trying to get these things and going, well, I guess I can't get them, or I'm going to have to wait in line, or I'm going to have to do this, or I'm going to have to do that, when there's enough of a supply that they could just put them out there. In fact, I read a thing that said that Apple had just sold something like 40% of their stock. Not their stock, but their stock for the Apples and the watches and the phones. And I'm going, well, they only sold 40% of them. Where's the other 60%? They're holding on to them.
That's for the good customers.
So I mean,
the Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross customers.
Fuck them.
Have you watched that movie yet?
No, not yet. I can't get through it.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I can't get through it. Yeah.
Is that legal though?
Huh?
Is that legal though to withhold 60%?
Sure, they're a company.
Yeah, they just leave stuff on the shelves and they dole it out slowly so that people.
Here's the third option.
It seems like
just don't buy it. At least don't wait 6 months until something new comes and buy the older model.
If you go online right now, you want to buy the watch, it'll be delivered to you by the end of October. Okay.
Whatever.
Well, the point, in fact, by the way, a heartbeat rate of 81 is okay, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then it's 80.
Especially after you got done arguing with me.
I have a lot of love for Apple. Don't get me wrong. I'm just
I don't have any love for them. I buy their products, but I don't have any love for the company. I think the company is a corrupt fucking asshole company.
I don't disagree.
And I'll give you a good example of where they're really an asshole company. For years that company was on the edge of bankruptcy. It was on the edge of death. And there were these little dealers all over the country who doggedly believed in Apple and were Apple dealers.
Including Best Buy.
Well, forget Best Buy. Let's just think about
little mom
people
and
like
pop
McAdam in New York, in San Francisco, places like that. That made Macintosh the thing they sold. And they were very loyal to Apple all those years when things were bad. When things got good, what did Apple do? Apple came along and built the Apple stores. All right?
Well, they built them because they said that they weren't being properly represented
that's bullshit. Here's what they did. In San Francisco, you want to know what they did? You know where they built an Apple store?
Market Street.
2 blocks away from McAdam. Do you know who's no longer in business now?
Sure.
McAdam. Yeah. I think that is restraint. I think that is antitrust, if you want my opinion.
Now, Brian and Jeff didn't live in San Francisco when there was such a cult following of Apple. People used to go to these conventions once a year, and it was like going to Burning Man, I guess. They hung on every word, and they were very loyal. They built a good brand, and
they also screwed over all those fans as well.
Yeah, but they went from being on the brink of bankruptcy to the most valued company in the country, in the world. So it's close to what, $1 billion.
It's $1 billion company now. It hit $1 billion, $1 trillion.
I think it's trillion. Yeah, $1 trillion company. They weren't getting that through their old channels of distribution. They have a right to make money.
They don't have a right. If you look at antitrust and history of antitrust through the years, companies which have become the distributors of their own product, okay, and exclusive distributors of their own product, were broken up due to antitrust. I'll give you a good example. Well, no, there were other motor companies.
General Motors hadn't been broken up.
No, but
they're exclusive distributors of their own.
No. You get it wrong.
Or Ford.
No, here we have a singular product, a singular platform that they don't license out to anybody else to build, right? They did for a short time, and then they pulled all that back.
That sounds like that.
Right, and then they opened up these stores, and they put all the smaller stores out of business. And I asked one of these stores that was still fighting the good fight, so the new iPhones came out, or the new this came out, or the new that came out. Do you have any in stock? And they said, oh, no, we get them about 3 weeks later. They were holding back on giving it to their distributor, to the retail stores. So that was the other thing with Apple. The fact is that years ago, the movie companies were the distributors of their movies, okay? and they distributed their films to their theaters that they owned. Okay, right. Finally the antitrust came along and said, you can't do that. You got to get rid of the theaters.
Now, let me ask you this. If you don't like the way Apple does business, you have other choices. You can buy a Dell computer. You can buy HP. There are other choices. If you don't like...
No, I can't. Because I am so in the Apple ecostructure that I can't shift without severe penalties to my using a computer.
Pocketbook.
But they're not taking anything away from you.
What?
They're not taking anything away from you. All of those products will be available when they say they are.
I am forced to buy that operating system from Apple and only Apple.
But you're not forced to use an Apple.
I am forced to use an Apple if I want that operating system.
Right. And so therefore they can distribute it any way they want. This is not.
No, they can't. There is an antitrust suit that's sitting there that's ready. They could go, that they really should make against Apple, but they're not going to.
No, they're making it against Google. They're going to bust Google up.
Why are they going to bust Google up?
Because of the amount of control that they're exhibiting through their media.
Well, what happened?
Google, Facebook, and a number of these other social media things. They're talking about investigating them and busting them up.
Well, not busting them up, but you could argue antitrust against Google. But what happens is these companies start out as small companies, and they grow and they grow and they grow and they grow, and one day they got 90% of the market or whatever before they even like Microsoft did, before they even turned around and looked. And then all of a sudden they said, well, antitrust, because they didn't feel they had to live up to certain things. They never thought they were that big. You know how you look yourself in the mirror and you still see the teenager there? They saw the small company there all the time until one day they were so big that, yes, they were antitrust.
Now, what is, you know this, what is the percentage of people that use Apple as a comparison to Samsung phones or not DOS computers, but Microsoft type computers, PCs? I think that there's many more people that use those platforms.
Apple doesn't. No, you're quite right. Apple's iPhone, for instance, is not the #1 phone. Samsung is.
Right.
Or maybe it's not this week, but it has been in the past. And but that's not the point. The point is that we're talking about everything they sell, the computers, the iPads, the things like that. They're the #1 pad. There's no question about that.
But that's a plus, and that's a reason to buy their stuff. It's not a negative.
It depends on no, but you can't. What I'm saying to you, Phil, is that they are the little distributor hasn't got a chance against the Apple Store.
Because they were dying with the little distributor. Well,
the little distributor would have done okay if Apple had given them the newest stuff at the same time that the Apple stores got it.
Yes, but what they wanted to do was create a brand, and when you create a brand, their brand was the Apple Store.
But you don't
understand. They made a strategic decision as to how they were going to...
Just like with the movie companies, you can't, according to antitrust, be the distributor of movies to theaters that you own. Okay?
I don't see why you can't be vertically integrated.
They had to divest themselves by law and by antitrust of all their movie theaters. It used to be the Paramount theaters. It used to be the Warner's theaters. And all of a sudden, it no longer was. Because what happened? Antitrust came along and said, you're the distributors of these films. You cannot be the owners of the theaters. And I honestly believe they're the distributors of the hardware and the software, and they can't be the distributors. They can't own the shops that these things are sold out of.
Jeff is...
Yes, Jeff.
Well, I'm not an expert on this at all, other than the technical end of using it.
Yeah.
And one thing I can tell you is that it's interesting that you're kind of taking a negative approach about Apple, and you're Alex, you're the biggest user of
That's
Apple
correct.
stuff.
Because
That's why he's taking that.
I'm vested into their products. I have bought into the Apple eco culture, and all I want is to be able to have a certain competition going out there for the selling of these products. You know, because I want to be benefited fully as the consumer.
Well, the one piece of quasi competition is you can go to Costco and you can buy that same product
you can't
with
buy,
a lot of other features
you can't,
for less money.
You can't.
Same with Adorama.
You can't get an Apple Watch. You cannot get an Apple Watch.
Yeah, you can now.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me finish. You can't get. You can get an Apple Watch at Costco, but if you check them, they don't have the cell version of it, and they only have limited colors.
Yeah,
why don't you try B&H or Adorama? I bet you can get it.
They don't sell Apple Watches.
They sell. You know where your computer that you bought from me came
Adorama.
From? Right.
Yeah, sure. But why'd you go to Adorama? You could just ordered it from Apple. It would have been the same price.
No, I'm an Adorama VIP 360, and I get free freight and all sorts of other stuff.
You get screwed specially, huh?
No, I get points. I get points at the end of the year for free prints and things like that.
What were you going to say?
Alex,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you get your watch?
No, you can't get them. They're impossible.
He doesn't know what time it is anyway.
Okay, so this is the second time that this has actually happened, and I should probably tell you. I ordered my watch as soon as they said that you could order it, and it came yesterday.
Yeah, but I didn't order it the first day.
Well, whose fault is that?
Well, so, I didn't order it because I had to talk to my business manager to see if I could.
So now you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So what seems to happen is that if you order it the first day, they give you a far out date that they're going to send it, and it's kind of a fib because this is the second time where it showed up even before the date that because they give you a date range, right?
Renee,
and this thing showed up before the date range.
Renee, show Alex the watch and
it's the same watch. It
make him suffer.
What'd you get?
I want to see the bezel.
Did you get?
Okay, you just want to see the face. Hold on. And Alex, I just sent you a request so that you could.
I can't see it.
There it is.
Is that the 44?
So we could do walkie-talkie.
Is that the 44?
Yep. Huh? No, it's the 40.
It's a 40. Okay.
It's a 40.
So it's a smaller one?
Yeah, I'm going to get the 40.
See, the original was 38. So when you say smaller, this even went up. But the face is definitely easier to see and easier to read.
Is it the cellular version?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
This is the one that Phil needs.
See, they got it in Hawaii, but they don't have it in New York.
No.
Well, see, this is so. Like I said, this is the second time that it's happened. They order something for me. They say it's going to be this date range, and it shows up a day before the date range.
But in about a month or two, I can just walk right in and get it. You know, they're going to still be making them. You know. Hey, listen, that's it for tonight. Gee, thank you so much, Brian, for calling, and Jeff for calling, and Phil for calling, and Renee for calling with her new Apple Watch. Okay.
Very fancy.
Yeah. Everybody, why don't you do this? Why don't you give a big wave goodbye to our audience out there? There they go. That's our panel for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And if you were maddened by Phil, you should be. Because I think I was about to have a stroke here. Anyway, that's it for us tonight. What's next? Well, it is Jack Bishop and the Intersection. And that's followed at 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Daylight Time by Connections tomorrow night. Damian Chaplin will be here at 9:30, and at 10 o'clock I'll be back with more of the same. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.